Hi, I'm Dave Rheins,
I'm twice baked in Washington.
and this is the Week in Weed.
Yes.
Well, Twice Baked, we're a little bit late this week in
Well, it's
doing
Thursday, right?
Thursday. What's the date?
I have no idea.
Is it the
March?
19th? I think it's March the 19th is
Yes.
what I believe that it is. It is Thursday. We didn't do it on Tuesday because we were doing the Seattle meetup on Tuesday, and you've been traveling all
Well,
over.
I wasn't there on Tuesday because I had a juicing fiasco of I had came into some plants
And
that needed to be juiced, and I needed to juice them immediately.
and juicing problems don't mean had nothing to do with St. Patty's Day.
No, I wasn't
Not
drinking.
that kind of
No,
juice.
no.
Okay, I
The
just want
raw
to make sure
cannabis
we're
kind.
talking about raw cannabis as we
Yeah.
always do with Twice Baked, so that's cool. And then you went just yesterday to Vashon Island, so I'm really keen on hearing that. Tell us what you were doing and who you
Well,
were
I
with.
went to the Vimea, so
What is
Vashon Island marijuana, and I always get stuck at the E and the A. But it's Vashon
so?
Island Marijuana
And
Growers
these
kind
were
of
growers,
association.
right?
Yes.
And what were you guys talking about? Who was
So
there?
they had MC West from Green Lion Farms, Mike West.
We love Mike West. He's great. He's a scientist and a very knowledgeable guy.
He was there. He gave a whole class, free class, on how to organically cultivate cannabis outside.
Yeah, organics are really interesting. It's a topic we're going to be talking about when we go down to Vancouver, when we go to Portland, when we go to Spokane. We got guys like from Miller Soils, Rick Freeman.
Yeah, he talked a lot about soil.
Yeah.
And it was a really beneficial class. There was novices there writing down notes, and there was like old school farmers that were writing down notes. There was a
There's a whole new
okay.
yeah.
So here's the big thing about these meetups over there, is that they have crazy raffles.
In Vashon Island.
In Vashon Island, they're getting to be apparently known for their raffles. I didn't know that.
They give stuff away.
They give like amazing things away as door prizes.
People like free things, you know.
People
it's
love
interesting.
free stuff.
So they come for the gifts. They stay for the knowledge.
The whole environment around everybody there, the vibe was really mellow and nice and very. Like,
well, you got to take a whole boat over there, so you got to.
You do have to take a boat. You can't just drive there.
That's right. And so that was cool. So you met some great people there.
Did. Yeah. So, yes, there was Michelle Sexton was there.
Oh, we love Dr. Michelle.
Sexton and Dr. Dominic Corva was there.
Both of those guys from ASA and for CAS.
Who organizes Shango Lots. He organizes.
Shango is really cool. Yeah.
Green Line Farms is represented there.
GLF. We're big fans of them.
And, I also met Dr. Ethan Russo.
Dr. Ethan Russo from GW Pharmaceuticals,
there.
right?
Yeah, it was Tyler Marquardt.
So
yeah, I met a lot of people.
He's got a place out there on Vashon, I understand.
Apparently. Yeah,
so it's quite a scene.
I got to talk to him briefly, and it was a really great, unexpected.
Cultural. It's a different. What's interesting is as we travel around the state, we uncover these pockets of local subcultures within the cannabis industry. And so here you've got organic farmers living together on this really idyllic island.
And they're coming together on the same topic, doing the same things that we're
sharing knowledge, building community.
It's still a different type of community than you see in Seattle.
Than you see in Seattle, or than we see in Vancouver, or than we see in East Wenatchee, where we were last week, talking about community. So since we last spoke, we were able to have some great meetings in Spokane.
Weren't you just in? So how was the Seattle meetup?
The Seattle meetup was last Tuesday, just a couple of days ago. Yeah. It was fantastic. We had a great time. Really good turnout. We were really honored. We had Forever Green Indoors was a sponsor, and they did a featured presentation with a NASA scientist. So Dr. Neal was there talking about lumens, which was really cool. And then we had a soil. I do. Lumens are for humans, is what I can tell you. So it's all about the spectrum of light. And anyway, you have to come to the meetings or talk to Forever Green Indoors. They'll tell you more about that. Then we had Miller Soils talking about. Exactly, they're talking about biochar and different soil media, and we had a PhD scientist, Rick Freeman, who was talking about that. So that was really fun and cool. And then we had experts from, well, it was really great. We had the HABA bill author, Warner, talked about the health and beauty aids.
What did she say about that?
Well, she's introduced a bill, and it looks like it's going to pass, and so that's going to allow us to have THC and CBD topicals, low percentage, so non-psychotropic, and they're going to be able to be for sale in 502 stores and everywhere else in the state. So that's really exciting.
Even though it's non-psychotropic, when you're rubbing it on your skin anyway, just saying.
It feels good. It feels good is all I can tell you. It works. So I'm a big fan of. So we had Cannabis Basics up there. Then we had Joy Beckerman, who is part of the Hemp Industry Association, and she stood up and talked about the industrial hemp bills that are making their way through Olympia. And then she also was a representative of Women in Normal, and so we got to hear a little bit about what was happening with 5052. And what's happening in the State House.
I mean, next week we have MJBA Women's Alliance.
And
Power Politics, where we're going to have Senator Ann Rivers, Senator
Jeannie Colwell's is going to be there. We're going to have, well, you just did, there's a whole video I know Morgan is putting together with Sean Dene and Warner and Morgan and really all the power women who are setting the policy in Washington State cannabis will be there. It is an evening event. It starts at 6 p.m. It's at Tom Douglas Palace Ballroom, which is fantastic. So the food, little noshies are going to be good. It's not dinner, but it's noshies. It's nice. And we're going to have really featured speakers, and it's really going to be an event you do not want to miss.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
So you'll want to see that. That is
sure.
On the 25th at 6 p.m.
Especially with everything that's going on with medical marijuana in Washington right now.
Well, it's coming together. It's changing.
Plug into if we can have any kind of voice and
And as I said, the whole policy is being set by these power women, and a lot of what's happening culturally are driven by these women in the cannabis industry. So we're honored to have folks like A.C. Braddock and Sean Dene and Al Warner and our very own Morgan, who will be there to help then facilitate all these other women in politics. So the fact that we've got state senators, that we've got local politicians from city and municipalities
that are joining in the conversation.
Yeah. And then the grassroots, right? So we're excited to have folks like Warner, and who wrote her own bill, right? She's a businesswoman, has been involved in hemp for many years, but is also on the bleeding edge of not only productizing Cannabis Basics, but in fighting for the rights of cannabis businesses into a whole nother sector of the economy. So that's really exciting. It's been a great week. It will continue to be a great week.
Thursday.
So if you guys have events, if you have news you want to share with us here on the WeekinWeed, send them to info@mjba.net. Please follow us at MJ Headline News on Facebook and on Twitter, TwicebakedinWa, everywhere that she is. And thank you again for all your support. Thank you for being part of the community. And realize that just by your very attention, by liking and sharing and subscribing to this channel, we are raising awareness, and you are helping to change consciousness here. So we thank you for that contribution. And we'll see you next week. Cheers.
Have a wonderful day.